like to call this meeting to order at 5:32. Dr. Esparza, you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. President Joey Acuña Jr.,
Here.
Vice President Jocelyn Vargas,
Here.
Clerk Silvia Paz, Trinidad Arredondo,
Present.
Valerie Garcia,
Present.
Jesus Gonzalez. Thank you.
Thank you. Board member Bass is going to be here in a few minutes. We just go ahead and get started with that. Closed session public comments. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the governing board regarding any closed session item within the board's subject matter jurisdiction. Please complete a request to address the governing board form and hand it to the recording secretary. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes per person with a maximum of 20 minutes to each subject matter. I only have one, Carissa Carrera, CVTA.
There we go. Okay. Good evening, Carissa Carrera for Coachella Valley Teachers Association. This is regarding item 2.8, the superintendent appointment, and adding into it the contract that's on your agenda tonight as well. It's a pretty standard contract, except it is important to note that there will be repercussions within Riverside County for a $300,000 superintendent salary in Coachella Valley Unified. Just in the Valley alone, that is a much higher salary than the other two districts pay, both of which have more students and more employees. It is good, though, that it is only a 3-year contract, since history suggests you'll be rid of her in 2. You won't have to pay out as much when you let her go for made-up reasons. It is also important to note that there are provisions to receive raises based on the negotiating that CVTA will do. Isn't this a conflict of interest, since there will be a direct impact on the superintendent's salary from the negotiations she oversees? Adding a $700 car allowance should be an embarrassment to this board, considering in the past you've stated that teacher salaries are much higher than what is made in our community, implying that it could be seen as an impropriety to pay so much. But to add on for the superintendent an unnecessary car allowance when she has already been given a $40,000 salary increase from the previous superintendent, and she continuously talks about all the cars, clothes, and houses she buys, well, that just seems shameful. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Seeing none other, do I have a motion to go into closed session?
All motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We will be back at what time, Mike? 7 o'clock. All righty. We had a motion and a second to return into open session. The motion carried 6-0. Item 3.2, announcements. Announce action taken in closed session. Clerk Bass, would you do that, please?
Good evening. The board took action during closed session under item 2.5. The board voted to approve the July 18th, 2024 10-day settlement offer, settlement agreement and general release resolving a matter for parent OAH case number 2021110613. Motion made by Trinidad Arredondo, second by Valerie Garcia, and the motion carried 5-1. The board took action during closed session under item 2.5. The board voted to approve the July 18th, 2024 10-day settlement offer, settlement agreement, and general release resolving a matter for parent OAH case number 2022040071. The motion was made by Jesus Gonzalez, second by Trinidad Arredondo, and the motion carried 6-0. The board took action during closed session under item 2.5. The board voted to approve the July 18th, 2024 10-day settlement offer, settlement agreement, and general release resolving a matter for parent OAH case number 2022040141. Motion made by Trinidad Arredondo, second by Valerie Garcia. Motion carried 5-1. The board approved the settlement agreement for certificated employee ID number 2025/01/561 on this 18th day of July 2024 and voted as follows. The motion made by Jesus Gonzalez, second by Trinidad Arredondo. The motion carried unanimously. The board approved the settlement agreement for certificated employee ID number 2025/01/560 on this 18th day of July 2024 and voted as follows. The motion made by Jesus Gonzalez, second by Trinidad Arredondo, and the motion carried unanimously. That's it.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to accept the agenda?
All motion?
Have a motion, do I hear a second?
Do you have a change, Mr. President?
A
Yeah,
motion,
I can bring that up.
Okay.
I can just bring it up.
I'll motion to accept the agenda respecting anything the chairman might want to.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. I will be moving item 9.2 to the top of the agenda just because we have some other guests and people in the audience today for that particular item. Next, 4.1, board notification, request to address the board. Introductory comments and requests to address the board on items on the adopted agenda and items not on the adopted agenda will be considered from the audience this time. Please complete a request to address the governing board form and hand it into the recording secretary. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes per person with a maximum of 20 minutes to each subject matter. Additionally, the person making the request should state his or her name and the name of the organization or group represented. Please be advised that the board is not always at liberty to answer questions right away. State law prohibits the board from taking any action on items not listed on the agenda. First up, Veronica Dueñas, CSEA.
Okay. Good evening, board members. My name is Veronica Dueñas. I'm the Chief Union Steward for CSA Classified Union. Good evening. Welcome, Dr. Esparza, our new superintendent, Board of Trustees, Joey Acuna, President, and Extended Cabinet. I want to speak on 2 of the board agendas that you have. I'm going to start with 6.1. 6.1 is a heat illness prevention that the district is going for adoption today. I have been an advocate of this. It's been old, so I'm glad to see that the board is updating this. But also with the update, I want to bring to your attention certain things that are on here that we need to follow. And with that being said, is that there is talk about training on here, employees, and which is under general guidelines number 4. Employees shall be provided with information regarding heat illness prevention and training. I want to make sure that training happens, please, if that's what we're going to put in the plan. And the big one is B, under the same general guidelines, district employees shall have access to ice and filtered water. Just to let you know, currently right now, I have a couple of sites that don't even have ice machines located on the site. So again, with this plan, which is very important due to our 100+ right temperatures, currently right now you walk outside, it's probably over 100 degrees. So I'm glad to see that you're also changing the temperature guidelines on here when heat prevention should start be taking place at 95 degrees, right? Also, another big one is the responsibilities on number 6 and number 5, where supervisors are supposed to be trained. Please, let's make sure that that happens. And what are the responsibilities that our employees are supposed to be following? Again, procedures and safety guidelines in their areas, and as well as those identified in the plan. So let's please have training on all of this. We need to put this out there, and we need to keep reiterating it through the year as we live in the desert. 6.2, which is your board policies, maintaining appropriate adult-student interactions. I asked for the same thing. This needs to be reiterated throughout the year to all our members, classified, certificated, everybody. Because, as you know, classified interacts a lot with the students. Please, this needs to be a training that shows them how to do this. What is it they can and cannot do? We just approve stuff, right? It goes to you, you just approve it, but that's where it ended. We don't really see it out there. We don't get those things. My people need it. I need it. So please, I'm asking for both of these things. Let's do the proper thing and give the best training possible. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. All right. Up next is Miriam Juarez. You have 2 items, that's 6 minutes for you. Three minutes for each item. Okay, all right.
Buenas tardes a todos, miembros de la mesa directiva, personas que se encuentran aquí presentes. Mi comentario es muy breve. Mi nombre es Miriam Juárez y estoy aquí en representación de la comunidad de Salton City, en específico para hablarles de CVU Elementary. Mi preocupación es la falta de personal en nuestra escuela. Ya son varios años en que tenemos cambios muy consecutivos en lo que se refiere a director y subdirector. Esto, como miembro activo en mi comunidad y padre, causa algunos problemas, ya que no nos permite tener un seguimiento adecuado en lo que se refiere a un método de liderazgo. A veces apenas nos estamos adaptando o integrando a una persona cuando recibimos la noticia de que se va, lo cual es muy difícil. Espero pronto tengamos un anuncio oficial en lo que se refiere a nuestro director y subdirector. Y les pido, por favor, se tenga en cuenta a nuestra comunidad latina. Necesitamos al menos una persona que hable español para que nuestras familias se sientan comprendidas y bienvenidas en nuestra escuela. También deseo que todas las plazas de maestros sean cubiertas, ya que iniciar el año con substitutes causa mucho retraso en nuestros niños. Gracias.
You have a second item? I had 2. Is that for both?
Okay.
Go ahead, you're there.
Ok, buenas tardes nuevamente. Ahora mi comentario nada más es muy breve y quisiera oficialmente darle la bienvenida a doctora Esparza. Ya había tenido el placer de conocerla anteriormente en un evento de padres y ahora que está usted en este puesto tan importante, quiero desearle todo lo mejor. Quisiera invitar a nuestra comunidad que le den la oportunidad de conocerla y ver que tenemos ahora a alguien que conoce nuestro valle, que sabe lo que pasa en nuestras familias migrantes, alguien que tiene el conocimiento adecuado en muchos aspectos por los que pasamos y necesitamos como comunidad. Doctora Esparza, le auguro todo lo mejor y como madre líder en mi comunidad le ofrezco mi apoyo para implementar todas las buenas ideas y proyectos que tiene usted en mente para nuestros hijos. Gracias y bienvenida.
Thank you. Next up, Isadora Jimenez, President, CSEA.
Good evening, President Joey Acuña. Congratulations again, Dr. Esparza, and extended cabinet. Most of you know me, I never write anything, but it comes from the passion that I have and what I am going to say. I hope I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I don't want to offend anyone. But first of all, I welcome Dr. Esparza. We've been working with her for a year already in collaboration. It's not always about agreeing, as most of you know me here, I will disagree and I will make it known. However, I will continue to respect you. I continue to extend my hand to you within maybe 30 seconds of disagreeing. On behalf of CSEA, we have had great collaboration in the year with Dr. Esparza. We have brought many issues that have been pending for years and years, and we will continue with that collaboration. Last month, or maybe 2 weeks ago, not even last month, I asked CSEA board and members that if they had anything, positive and personal that they had dealt with, and with Dr. Esparza, to come up here and let everyone know about it. Everything was personal. It was their own experience. It was their voice. And it goes to show that we will continue supporting her. And we welcome her. Everything else, there's many, many things going out there that are very negative. And I have been wanting to come up here myself, but I don't want to insult anyone. But I know that only time will tell. Change is very hard. It's been hard for me in the past, and it will continue to be hard for many that don't see it going in the direction that they want to see it. But only time will tell what we deserve. We deserve CVUSD to be at the same level of our neighboring districts. Doesn't matter who gets paid what, doesn't matter where we disagree. What matters is that we're continue collaborating. Our students deserve those guides that we haven't been able to give under different administration. And it's not the first time that there has been change with a new superintendent. I've been here 27 years, and it's nothing new. As a matter of fact, the way Dr. Esparza went about it was probably the most positive I have seen it in all those years, and letting everyone know what the plan was going to be ahead of time. So thank you again, and welcome.
Thank you. Next up, Carissa Carrera, President, CVTA. You have 8 different items, so 24 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening again, Carissa Carrera, CVTA, and I will not take that entire time, hopefully. The first item I had on there was regarding the consultant, Gary Soto. I wanted to follow up on my previously shared concerns regarding him. We've properly researched the 3 testimonials that are on his website, and I did ask this board to do that, but was completely disregarded. So the first testimonial shows somebody named Jessica M. Hart, Superintendent, Redwood District. There is no record of a Redwood District. There is a Redwood City District, but Dr. John Baker has been the superintendent since 2015. Soto's company was not formed until 2022. Also, the photograph of Ms. Hart is a stock photo, which is also used by numerous websites, including but not limited to Expert Data Recovery Services, who identify him as Michael Brown, and Supernova Fireworks, who identifies him as Sophia M. The second testimonial was Samantha P. Groves, Director of Curriculum of Ocean View School District. There are no individuals in the entire United States that utilize this name. Also, the photo of Ms. Groves is a stock photo, which is also used by numerous websites, including but not limited to Amoak Foundation, Perdido Key Bike Rentals, identifying this person as Jamie L., and PCC Information Technology Center, identifying this person as Jane Smith. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, there is only one school district in the U.S. with a similar name. It is Ocean View Elementary School District and is located in California. According to their staff directory, there is no Samantha Groves, nor is there any individual with the title of Director of Curriculum in the district. The third testimonial is Leonard K. Bishop, Principal, Sunnyvale High School. There are only 2 individuals in the entire United States that utilize this name. One is 73 years old and one is 95. Neither have ever lived in California. Also, the photo of Mr. Bishop is a stock photo which is used by numerous websites, including but not limited to PCC Information Technology Center and RV Master. There were or are 2 schools with the name of Sunnyvale High School located in the U.S. Sunnyvale High School was located in the Fremont School District and only operated from 1980 to 89, and Sunnyvale High School in Sunnyvale, Texas has a principal named Ashley Graham who started in 2023. Clearly, our superintendent has failed to do her due diligence and hired Mr. Soto because of their personal connection. Dr. Esparza has vouched for a man who has fraudulently presented himself as an expert in the field of literacy, claiming endorsements from fictitious people from fictitious school districts. How are we to trust what he represents to know about the subject matter when we can't trust who he actually is? I am concerned for my teachers who are being asked to believe in him, and also concerned about those who hired him to lead the work of improving the lives of our students. At least one of you should be voicing your concerns about this. The next item is 6.2, the new board policy for maintaining appropriate adult-student interactions. This is policy we should have had in place years ago, and CVTA has no issue with the content of the policy. What we do have issue with is that the board's policy committee was not part of this process. Board committees are established to allow for input from parties such as both labor organizations and even students and parents. If district committees are being eliminated, please do let us know this, as CVTA submitted our committee participants to Dr. Esparza nearly a month ago, but have not had any sort of response to date. Additionally, we would like clarification about this policy if it also applies to school board trustees, since they are not mentioned anywhere in the text. We are aware of at least 3 trustees who have violated that language without any consequences, and we would welcome knowing that board trustees are to be held accountable to their own policies. Finally, inappropriate conduct number 9 mentions terms of endearments which should not be used with students. Should this list also include mijo and mija? These are very commonly used terms here in CVUSD, and we will need to know if it is appropriate to say to a student, yes, mijo, but inappropriate to say, yes, dear, as indicated in the language before you. Item 7.1, approval to renew contract for legal services. While we understand the necessity of securing legal services as needed, we question why just a few years ago CVUSD contracted with various legal services based on their areas of expertise, but now only contracts with this one firm that does not have a great track record with educational and labor issues, not to mention having a questionable association with one of our school board trustees. It is a concern of ours, as we have mentioned previously, that no one seems to be able to make a move in this district without consulting the attorneys first. Not only is this a costly process, but it leads some to believe that we are hiring unqualified administrators. CVTA would like a response regarding the move to only this one particular firm in the last couple of years versus retaining multiple specialized firms. Next item is item 8.2, the Proposition 28 funding report. CVTA members have been asking various district office administrators over the past few months about the use of this money for the arts programs. We have seen that in the LCAP, it was reported that all, that's in quotes, all elementary students are benefiting from VAPA now, which is not true. We have emails detailing that funds were not received until 2024. We have seen that site fine arts budgets have been cut and have been told that it's because Prop 28 money is coming to replace that. However, on June 5th, 2024, a letter was sent to parents and staff on letterhead, including all school board trustees and Dr. Esparza, stating, and I quote, "We received the funds in early 2023, and we have diligently ensured that 80% of the allocation is being used to pay for our VAPA teachers' salaries and benefits. This investment directly supports the dedicated educators who bring the joy and creativity of the arts to our students. Additionally, each school will be allocated funds for art supplies, ensuring that our students have the materials they need to fully engage in their artistic endeavors. We are also excited to announce that we will be purchasing multiple or musical instruments to further enrich our arts program," end quote. Later on in the letter, it is stated that, and again I quote, "We believe that transparency and communication with our entire school community are vital, which is why we wanted to share these details with all of you," end quote. This item on tonight's agenda shows no Prop 28 money being spent on anything in the 23-24 school year at all. Can you explain with complete transparency why parents and staff were told that money has been spent? Why the LCAP includes false information about VAPA and elementary, and why arts budgets are being cut when Prop 28 money is meant to supplement, not supplant? You show no evidence of any plans to supplement our arts programs and are actually being dishonest with parents, staff, and the state. Item 9.1, CSEA dental and vision plans. This item shows no fiscal impact in the details. Since this item was not handled through the district insurance committee, thereby not disclosing all information to the committee members, I had to do some digging for information. As it turns out, CSEA moving from current dental and vision plans to the CVT plans will cost the district nearly $300 in additional money. I believe it is important to note that there is actually a fiscal impact, which for some reason is being obscured in this item tonight. Items 12.12 and 12.27 we'll take together. Apex and subject.com contracts. CVTA is confused about the need for 2 online credit recovery platforms. For the past 2 years, we've been told by Ed Services Administration that they want to do away with Apex, yet here it is tonight for renewal. We were told that last year's contract for subject.com was an accident because of a missed deadline that they tried to cancel but couldn't, yet here it is tonight for renewal. It is important to note that neither platform can be used to offer courses due to a lack of qualified teachers. That would be an unfair labor practice, and Ed Services has been aware of that for 2 years, yet they keep bringing subject.com back with that additional intended purpose as explained in the details of the item on the board agenda. Please make sure that you ask the appropriate questions before approving both contract renewals tonight. Item 14.1, Certificated Personnel Report, Part 1, Employment. This is the first time interim admin assignments have been on this report. We're just curious about the change and hope to receive a response as to why that's been made. Part 7, Extra Services. There are 67 opportunities with many multiple vacancies listed for extra services. We hope that all of these have or will be properly advertised, fulfilling the contract language. And finally, regarding district resources and transparency. In closing, let me state for the record that as board members, your primary responsibility, besides hiring a superintendent, is serving as good stewards of district resources. However, each of the items I have discussed tonight demonstrates the board's unwillingness to serve in that capacity. As employees of CVUSD, there is a deep concern over the school board's apparent lack of fiscal responsibility and transparency, which continues to erode trust in the board's ability to be fiscally responsible. The board's decisions, such as approving an unusually high superintendent salary with additional perks, renewing contracts for potentially unnecessary services, and misrepresenting the use of Proposition 28 funds demonstrate a troubling pattern of poor resource management. The lack of involvement of established board committees and policy-making processes, coupled with inconsistent communication about financial impacts, raises serious questions about the board's commitment to collaborative governance. Furthermore, the discrepancies in reported spending and actual allocations, particularly regarding arts programs, undermine trust in the board's stewardship. We urge the board to prioritize transparency, engage more meaningfully with bargaining units and stakeholders, and make decisions that truly benefit our students and staff. Without a significant correction in the board's approach to governance and resource management, we fear that the relationship between the school board, district leadership, and staff will continue to deteriorate, ultimately impacting the quality of education in our district. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Moving on, communications, board members, no written communications. Board members' reports. Board Member Garcia.
Thank you. We are halfway through summer. We're almost just over a month from coming back into school, and I'm so excited to see all of the preparation to all of the schools to get them ready. Excited to hear from our facilities colleagues that things are happening with the cement and the fields, so that students have a safe place to be in between. I do hear you, everyone who spoke, as far as getting staff that is right for our communities, that can speak the language and speak to our parents, for the need for training and continued training is what it sounds like, not just once a year, continued training. I was also surprised about the VAPA, because it is such an amazing opportunity. It sounds like we have programming, and I've seen us buy instruments for things, so just making sure that we're transparent. There are very specific things with that. Had to be new staff that was brought in, not just paying for the old, so just making sure that we're keeping up with what the VAPA guidelines are. I was also confused about that and do want more information. We're also asking for information about each of our programs. We have so many grants. There's a lot of money that's still floating around out here. And I agree, as a board, we've had conversations about really keeping track on where we are every year, so that we're not spending everything in a fury, and making sure that we are as efficient as possible. So it's something that definitely brought to our attention, continue to ask for, so continue to ask for those things. I do want more information about the credit recovery that's on here. If it's in conflict, maybe they should be pulled so that we have more information for that. That's my report right now. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you. So I got a chance to attend summer school graduation, and I want to thank all the staff who made summer school happen, from everybody working in that 110-degree weather, and our teachers and our both all our employees that work. Thank you for I know it's over 110 degrees out there and it's tough. So I'm hoping we have the proper protocols in place, that we have safety in place for our employees. I'd like to welcome the new director of food services, Mr. Murta, and thank you. And one of the things that I look forward to is always, not only talking about the food, but talking about the healthy fruits and vegetables that we have in our own backyard, and how we go from the farm to the table. And then how do we engage our students in making sure that they that they have a little bit of background of all the agriculture that happens here in the Eastern Coachella Valley. So thank you again, Mr. Murta, for the work that you'll be doing. I know that 75% of the project, the AC project and the refresh at the K-12 school is on track, and look forward to having new ACs that so much needed for our school campus out there. I'd like to bring up an issue that I brought up 4 years ago, and every year after that. I visit about 2 schools a day, and I visit most sites every week, day in and day out. So when I bring things to my colleagues, or I bring things to staff, it's always because it's the best interest of students. And I just want to bring up that during facilities meeting, I brought up I thank staff for bringing up the Peter Pendleton issue. They have, I've visited there over 10 times, and students have asked for new basketball courts, new tetherball courts. And during facilities, I was accused of playing favoritism, and I want to say here to the public that kids deserve a good play area. None of that concrete benefits me, it benefits the students. The fact that they want a new tetherball court, the fact that they want new basketball courts, I think is important. And I want to say that publicly, because as we go down here, you'll hear different things, but I want to tell you that that is something that is needed. If you go to Peter Pendleton, you'll see the separation of concrete. You'll see the issues there. So I hope that our staff will look into replacing that concrete there, not for me, but for the students of Peter Pendleton, right? I want to thank today. I got a chance to just meet with some of the union staff, and they had a lot of suggestions, and thank you for just a quick conversation on the things that we need to get done. And I know that our district needs a lot. You go through 22 school sites, everybody needs, and the school site needs a lot, and it's a challenge with the weather. But I want to say that I believe that we're getting there, little by little. And I want to say that with our staff, thank you for all you do. I know this is going to be a rough next month as we prepare for the new school year. So with that being said, also look forward to the new North Shore Elementary School, which is on track and on budget. So looking forward to that coming to fruition. So thank you. That's my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Board Member Gonzalez?
I'm not supposed to be next. I got it. No, yeah, I didn't have a report. I did want to share, I wanted to publicly thank the city of Coachella. They reminded me by giving us all a shirt. It was an amazing program put together with the mayor of the city of Coachella and Dr. Sparsa, our staff, of course, their staff, and it has to do with financial literacy. The city of Coachella put their money where their mouth was. They put up wages, I think $3,000 on a stipend for about 6 weeks of work. And the whole idea was to put these students in settings where they were part of the community, businesses, school districts, cities, so that they understood what really drives the community. And one of the components that was really, really heartwarming for me was an idea that we had been working on. I was privy to an all-day meeting that happened here where we provided breakfast and lunch. And we had a great presenter, and the whole idea was training and teaching our seniors financial literacy. And I've always said that the most important thing that we can give our students as they graduate from our school district, I've been saying this for about 8 years since I've been here, and is financial literacy, that they understand how to balance a checkbook, they understand what cryptocurrency is, they understand what the stock market is, what the S&P is, what drives the world, how to balance a checkbook, what a credit card is, your ratios of borrowing, how not to borrow too much on your credit cards, what it is to buy a mortgage, what it is to buy raw property, how is it you do it, how is it you find money to do a business. And I think it's something that in communities like ours, unfortunately, we're not having those discussions, and it's time to have those discussions. I was really excited that Dr. Esparza shared with me the same day that the state of California has made it mandatory that school districts like ours provide financial literacy before the children graduate from high school. And again, very, very important. Even our kids that are going to school, they get their first credit card. Before you know it, they're overspending. They max out that credit card. Your ratios are off. Your credit score dives, and you can't do nothing, unfortunately, unless you have good credit. And I was really heartwarming that the mayor of the city of Coachella, Gabe Martin, the city manager, Dr. Esparza, our staff, really stood up and delivered this message. It's going on for 6 weeks. It was really, really exciting. I too want to congratulate the gentleman that's now part of food services. I like him because he went to San Diego State like I did. And so, but also had a chance to meet him out in the Oasis area. It was really nice where the children were coming, where we're providing meals, buses, a place where the children can come and sit in a cool space, have a lunch, and really deliver a wholesome meal for them. And I thought it was a really cool program. Again, Dr. Esparza, thank you for inviting us out there. I'm not going to bore you with schools that I visit and things that I do, but we're paying attention. We're paying attention to the community. We understand the value of what it is to live in this community, and we believe that every child that comes to our school district deserves the best possible education. And we're going to ensure, as part of this dais, that we're responsible in that fashion, that we're fiscally responsible, and we're making decisions that are conducive to good business for our community. So, adelante. Thank you all for being here. I too had a chance to meet Dr. Esparza's family. you guys welcome. I know we're later in the meeting, we're gonna have a vote, but thank you for being here and supporting, and I'm sorry I couldn't deliver better weather.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, everyone who's here and all of you who've provided us with your comments. I am very interested in the topic of the arts. I know that's something that we've discussed in years before, and we've had VAPA, but I do think that there are probably other arts, right, that we could be implementing in our schools. So I do hope that those questions that are raised about Prop 28 can be all straightened up about, how much funds, where we're funding these programs from, and what's available to do more than what we have right now. And I do think that getting that, report as soon as it's made available with a list of all of our grants where we are is going to be important. And I want to stress, though, that this shouldn't just be like a numbers, right? Okay, we have this much money and we spent this much money. This needs to be intentionally done, paying attention to the intent of the funds and the quality of what we're offering. There were comments made too about implementation, and I do think that is an area of growth for our district. Like was mentioned by Ms. Veronica Dueñas, it's not enough that we are approving some of these plans if they sit somewhere never to be looked at again, and I think that's been a consistent pattern among many areas in our district. So I do, ask that this year be different. I know we're probably not going to be able to get to everything, but start putting those systems in place where we are keeping track and things that we say we're going to do, things that we're adding into plans, that there's somebody out there that's doing it. And the other item that I know I've talked about for years, and particularly when we're talking about our expenditures and LCAP, I do think as a district we have a variety of different either platforms or programs, and each school can attend to choose whatever their favorite is, and then we don't have any like streamlined. So it would be very helpful for us to streamline what programs, what platforms, and it's really the district setting the menu and not every school picking and choosing and introducing something new, and then, we just do not get that consistency of implementation across the board. I was reminded, I do also agree that we have facilities that need upgrading, to Mr. Arredondo's comment. And I want to point out that elections are around the corner. There is going to be proposition, the Public Education Facilities Bond Measure. So we need to be as active, not just pointing out the needs, but also trying to figure out where those funds are going to be coming from. And this is just one of them, right? Like making sure that there are funds coming to us and available. The state budget is looking very dim for the future years. So unless we figure out where new funding is going to come from, I think we're not going to be able to address some of the needs that we have, in this case, particularly with facilities. Thank you.
Yes. Sorry. Try not to, I support a lot of the comments that were made by my colleagues. Thank you for public comment. Definitely listen and hear everyone's comments and inputs as we go through our agenda and make decisions. I do support, the comments that were made around the arts. I think there have been some partnerships and initiatives that we've done through the district that I think could be good examples of engaging students and in the arts. Just one example, I think there's a mural that's being done out in like the West Shores High School, And I know I mentioned this as well, but it's just one example, right? They engage the students in actually developing the plan, conceptualizing the plan, and so it provides them with an opportunity of not just engaging in the arts, but really taking ownership of that art. So I think there's an opportunity to do more than just, let's do an art activity, but really expose students to develop some of those skill sets that, maybe they do want to go into the arts. We have a lot of opportunities here locally. I think a couple things that come to mind, now that we've gone through the LCAP, we've been reviewing our budget. I think for me, it's really important that we have some alignment and follow through, as folks have mentioned as well. I think really making sure that, as it was mentioned, that LCAP's not just sitting somewhere collecting dust, but that we're really utilizing it as a tool to align our budget processes, to align our decision-making processes. And our budget is very dim, very volatile. And so I think the more we can plan and prepare and the less we are reacting to putting out the fires, I think will really bode well for the district as we try to address some of those challenges. Just two things. I had the opportunity to join the Meals on the Bus as well with Dr. Gomez. It was a really great opportunity to see one of our programs, and we're hoping that we can continue to provide and increase access to these services and really meet our community where they're at. I thought it was just a great opportunity to see that. And the other thing, I did have the opportunity to peek in. This boardroom was filled with students, and it was really great to see them engage around, financial literacy. They were really listening, and so I want to thank staff and the partnership for that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll try to keep mine brief as well. First of all, I want to thank everyone who participated in our summer school program, all our staff, all the admin, everyone who did it. I think it went very well. Obviously, lessons learned for next year, but I think a lot of the kids enjoyed the variety of the field trips and some of the things that were brought in. I got an opportunity to see the Star Wars part that they brought in the middle school kids, and middle school kids come in all tough, and by the end of the program, they're out there swinging their swords and all dressed up and everything. It was kind of nice to remind them that while they may be, the age they are, they still act like kids when, it's nice to see them acting like kids and not taking the world so seriously, at least for a little brief time. Secondly, I also want to welcome our new Director of Food Services. And again, I want to thank everyone who was part of that program, that summer foods program. Our transportation, our food services department, everybody who was part of that. That's an important program for us, and I know we've supported it even probably before COVID. If not us, who's going to do it in our East Valley? Nobody's going to come and save us. These are programs that we do because we're the only ones that can. And we may get criticized by people for doing all this other extra stuff, and we're not. No, this is our community, and there's nobody else out here. So I believe it's not only the right thing to do, in some ways it is our obligation to make sure to help all of our communities as best we can. So I want to thank everybody who was part of that as well. Again, I think, moving forward, I agree, some of the implementation things that we need to do in our district, I think are things that are very important. Again, some of the things that, we talk about, it's that, sometimes the board passes things, we approve things, and they don't kind of get done. And I think that's the accountability portion of what needs to happen all the way down the road. Again, we at the Facilities Committee requested this assessment of all our school sites, because I can pick a school, and all the schools have problems. I can go out to West Side, I can go to John Kelly, we can go to Valley View, we can go to Peter Pendleton, we can go to CVU, we can go to all these schools. There's problems, and we had asked for an assessment a long time ago. We never got one, right? And so again, board member Arredondo went to Peter Pendleton, saw it was horrible, and said, hey, let's do it here too. I agree with that, but all our schools are like that, and we needed an assessment so we can prioritize everything and systematically figure out where we're going to find the funding. Again, all these things are great, But if you're going to put money in, you're going to have to take it out somewhere. So this is our struggle that we're talking about. I think the bond, hopefully in November, if it passes, I think that's going to be helpful. Not totally helpful, but it'll be helpful. And I think that's why we need those implementations of our policies that we pass. As you say, we passed it, but are they being ultimately implemented? Is the training happening? Is all the other things happening? And those are the things that I personally will push to our new superintendent. That's her job now. That's what I'm going to hold her accountable to make sure that those things that we do, our policies and our things that we pass, actually get implemented and get done. And not, years later, we're asking, hey, what happened with that? And nothing happened. So those are the things that I believe are going to be very important for us moving forward. So with that, I'm going to stop. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank you to our special guests who came from out of town, drove down. We appreciate you coming out. And thank you. Moving on, Superintendent's report.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all of the summer school employees. All schools had great summer school programs. I know that this was the first time for our principals to be summer school principals, working collaboratively with our coordinators from our ACES program and giving our students the opportunity to have fun while they're learning. I love that there were culminating activities such as creating a paper roller coaster, and actually once they did that and learned the math behind it and the science behind a roller coaster, that they were able to experience at Knott's Berry Farm. And so those are the kind of programs that we want our students to be able to participate in, project-based learning, where they're actually learning in the classroom and they're also learning outside of the classroom. So thank you, summer school staff, everybody that was involved. I'd also like to thank the principal of West Shores, Ms. Olivia Mejorado, Principal Alvarez, Principal Zamudio, Director Karina de la Peña, Director of Secondary Socorro Sanchez, coordinators Tara Hinchin and Cindy Bradley for their commitment to attend targeted conferences with Gary Soto this summer to make sure that we are providing our school leadership in the year to come, as well as our teachers, high quality professional learning that is focused on improving student achievement. That is first. And so I do want to thank them for taking their vacation time and not taking a vacation, but going to learn to be able to bring that back to CVUSD to help our staff. I would also like to thank the mayor of Coachella for giving us the opportunity to take on that American Rescue funding and giving us $500,000 to run the program for our interns. It's really helped several of our interns, 118 of them, as a matter of fact, who will receive a $3,000 stipend next week, and making sure that they have the skills, the opportunities to go out and now put this on their resume, some of them being high school students and some that just graduated. And we're very proud that all our interns from the city of Coachella were able to help us here in the district office. They helped at the summer school sites, but they also worked in other offices throughout the city. They worked in legal offices, they worked in real estate offices, and we try to set them up with the best of our ability to something that they want to do in the future. And so we're really happy that we were able to do that this year, again, through the funding of the city of Coachella, with the support of the city manager and the director of the economic development programs there. So hats off to them for picking the school district and not just turning that $500,000 over to a business. And so we're really proud of that. I'd also like to thank our RCOE, Riverside County Office of Education, superintendent, who came out along with some of the board members and saw the amazing work that food services and our bus drivers did in ensuring that we were sending buses. We send 3 buses to sites, mobile home sites usually, to support our students who live in those mobile home parks, to be able to have a good meal, to be able to have an air-conditioned bus and an opportunity to get on there with their friends as they're not in summer school right now, and be able to interact and continue to have that collaboration and not be stuck in the house. And some of you that are parents out there, I'm sure that you're happy that some of your children are able to get onto these buses and interact and take at least 30 to 45 minutes for them to be able to participate in that with their friends. And so again, hats off to food services and to all our bus drivers who are supporting the program. And that is my report.
All right, thank you.
One more
Moving-
thing, sorry. I'd like to thank my family for
Go
being.
ahead.
Thank you.
Moving on, where are we at? Item 6, information presentations. Item 6.1, Director McLeod, the heat and illness prevention plan. That's just for informational for us, unless there's any questions. Item 6.2, again, Director McLeod, the first reading of the CVUSD Board Policy 4119.24, maintaining appropriate adult-student interactions. That's also an informational. If anyone has any questions or any changes, we can report back on that. Okay. All right, now moving up, I had mentioned I'm going to move item 9.2 up a little bit. Item 9.2, approval of employment contract for newly appointed CVUSD Superintendent, Dr. Francis Esparza. Do I have a motion?
All motion?
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions, any comments from anyone? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-2. Congratulations, Dr. Esparza. I was just going to say, if we want to take a quick little break, we'll just take a picture. I know the family and some members of Rancho who are here from the district, previous district that she was here, drove all the way down here to support her as well. So we want to maybe let's just take a 5-minute, 10-minute break really quick. We're still doing good on time. We'll come back at 8 o'clock. Let's take some pictures if anyone want to take pictures down.
Oh.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting back to order. And going back to, yeah. Okay, moving along. Item 7, action. Item 7.1, approval to renew contract with Olivares Madruga Law Organization to provide counsel and other legal services for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
I motion.
Motion, do we hear a second? Have a motion and a second. Any questions, any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion fails 3-2. Item 7.2, approval of appointment, the superintendent as secretary to the governing board. So I have a motion?
I motion.
Have a motion and,
I'll second.
motion and a second. Any questions, any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 7.3, Dr. Francis Esparza, approval of the revision certificates of signature form. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any questions, any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 8.1, Director Oliveros, requesting approval to award request for proposal RFP number 106-2024 to Repair Lab, Inc. in Palm Springs, California for Apple product repair services. Do I hear a motion?
I motion, and also just a comment, President Acuna, that it's exciting that we're gonna get these service here locally, and we're not sending stuff halfway across the country in the delay of just the transportation. So good work, Dr. Sparsa, Israel. I motion.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
A second?
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 8.2, Director Pentoni, requesting approval of Prop 28, Arts and Music in Schools Funding Annual Report. I have a motion.
Motion move.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
And this is just a report that the funds will be spent next year. Correct.
It's the report that the funds came in and zero was spent, so every year we have to, so they didn't come in until spring. And so we need to make sure that the money is spent in this school year. So this school year, we'll have another report at the end of the year.
Perfect. Thank you. No more questions.
Any other comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 9.1, Director McLeod, approval of the memorandum of understanding between CVUSD and CSEA regarding 2024-2025 dental and vision plans.
I motion.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
A second?
I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 10, consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the board to be routine and will be acted upon in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the board considers the motion unless members of the board or staff request specific items to be discussed and/or removed from the consent calendar, in which event the items will be considered separately. The superintendent, assistant superintendent at services, if we had one, assistant superintendent of business service and finance, and assistant superintendent of human resources recommend the approval of all consent calendar items. Do I hear a motion?
I'll motion to approve the consent calendar as is, respecting any board member wanting to pull an item.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
I have a
Have a
request.
motion and a second. Anyone want to pull some items?
I just want to put 12.13.
12.13? Member Garcia?
12.12, let's see, 12.12, you already said 12.13, 12.25, and 12.27.
Okay. Board Member Gonzalez, anything?
I'm good with that. Oh, I don't have anything to pull.
President Vargas, anything?
No.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar minus the 4 items. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 12.12, we'll start with that one. I believe that was, is that Mr. Adrones?
No, that's Ms.
Oh,
Garcia.
I'm sorry. Board Member Garcia?
Sorry, yeah.
I call a question, Mr.
Well, she pulled it, so go
I
ahead
know.
and let us know.
I wanted more information about it. If there is an issue with this particular online platform, I want to know more about it. So I'd rather it be pulled.
So there's an issue, or are you claiming there's an issue, or is there's an issue?
I want to know more.
Oh, you want to know more? Okay.
So you're asking to pull it entirely
Yes.
and not, you're making I'm sorry, trying to get it clear. You're making a motion to pull the item and bring it back
Yes.
pending more information.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anybody, comments or questions?
Call a question.
I have a,
Okay, all those in favor
I
to
have a
pull?
question.
Huh?
I have a question then, I guess, in follow-up to the comment, is it duplicative of the other services? That would be my question. So if we're bringing it back later, then that would be the question.
You want me to answer?
Yeah.
So I know there's two online programs, and one is Apex and the other is Subject. And the reason why we have two different, it's because it's for our students, especially our students at LAFA, and those that need to make up credit for credit recovery. And some cannot sit through the videos that they have in Subject. They learn differently, and they actually need to have that time to be able to be on a platform where they can go back and review. So it's about the learning style of the students, and so we wanted to make sure that we're gonna accommodate our student population that need credit recovery, and so it was in our best interest to be able to bring them both.
Great work, Dr. Esparza. I call the question, Mr. Acuna. I'm not gonna waste my time here.
Okay. All those in favor of pulling the item?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't think.
Voting for it pulls it, voting against it doesn't pull it.
So, okay, so we're pulling it, what you're proposing is that we're pulling it and then bringing it back? I guess,
Okay. Motion carries 4-2. We're going to pull it and bring it back with more information.
3-2.
Huh?
3-2?
Oh, no. Oh, then 3-2, then it fails. You need 4 votes. Sorry.
Wait, no,
No, for us. She
Huh?
we're
voted
bringing
with
it
us.
back.
It fails.
It
You
failed.
don't have,
It's
you don't
three
have,
votes to
no.
you don't have a quorum.
Well, 3-2. Okay.
It's 3-2. You need
Wait,
4.
no.
You need it.
It's 3-2 your way, but
It's
it
not the
fails.
quorum. That's why the other one failed as well.
Oh,
So it failed. So, now I have a motion to support staff's, to support staff's recommendation to pass it, to approve it. Do I hear a motion? It's going to fail 3-2 regardless, so,
I'm,
so it just, basically, we can just say it died and
yeah,
see
motion.
what we do.
Let's just,
Right.
yeah, it's not gonna go anywhere.
Okay. All right,
Can I
so
bring it- well,
it
can I-
failed, huh?
Can I maybe comment? I don't know if there's more specific questions around the item so that we can direct staff to like come back with specific questions. So, I mean, for me, is it a duplication? What's the difference? Or maybe just provide a little bit more. So that's just my,
So it's,
Dr.
Well, see,
Esparza, can I
so-
just make a comment before you speak? I want to commend the work that's being done, because we all learn different, right? Some people, there's a lot of people that are visual learners, and these types of programs are very different in that they allow a possibility for a range of students, right? And so the fact that you're thinking out of the box, and also the fact that you have two, right? They're competing, and people can choose where they want to finish, how they want to learn, and we're at a place, unfortunately, where it doesn't matter what the intent is, right? These are petty actions that are actually wasting people's time, but we're gonna need to bring this back, because it's obviously
So-
important that we go
So
forward.
let's actually go through the process because that motion failed. So do I hear a motion to approve item 12.12?
I'm not gonna waste my time.
We
Bring
got to
it
go
back.
through the process, otherwise it's going to die and it doesn't come back.
Oh, okay, so I would motion
I know it's a dumb thing we have to do, just,
a motion to approve staff's recommendation, Mr. Cunha.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion fails. It's off. You do what you want to do to bring it back, or however, whenever, whatever you want to bring back. Item 12.13.
Yeah, we can call the question.
Huh?
We can call the question. I just want to abstain on this one.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. It's your item.
Yeah, we can.
Well,
But so why
explain
did
your
you
item and then
abstain? Why are
we'll-
you
they'll
pulling the
make
item
the
just
motion.
because
So,
you're abstaining?
Yeah.
What was that?
A motion to accept staff's recommendation, Mr. Cunha.
You want to second it?
I'll second.
Motion second. Go ahead. It's your item.
So I'm just going to abstain for this item.
Huh?
I'm going to abstain on this item.
Okay, so you need to tell me. Okay. Any other comments or questions on this item?
I think I had a couple questions, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sorry, but the questions on the items. I think as we're, assessing all items, and I think I brought it up, like I like to see like the impact of this program as well. I think the other question that I had brought up, and I think it was answered, but just for the sake of, answering the question here, I was wondering why there was a difference in the pay rate. So if you could just.
so there was a difference in the pay rate because prior to this year, mentors would receive a $5 raise every year, and so this year they did not receive that.
And then these are, the other question I had, these are contracted services, so they're not
Yes.
employees.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Thank
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Any abstention?
Aye.
You voted yes?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0-1. 1225, I think that was yours, Mr. Arredondo?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garcia?
1225.
So for this one, again, in our comments, we had questions that this was not something that staff wanted. This was something that was a mistake last year. I want to better understand why we're using it, if we do use it, so that impact, make sure that it's streamlined. These are all the things that we talk about. We want to make sure that we're doing that before I approve it. So just more information.
So you're reacting to the public comment by Ms. Carrera, and you're basically asking for what she's asking for?
I'm
trying to
asking
understand.
for transparency, which is
Transparency
something
or?
that our public is
So
asking for.
we're not gonna go down this road. Make a motion, it's your item. Make a
Yeah,
motion.
so pull it for more information and then come back with it.
Okay, we have a motion to pull it and bring it back. All those in favor, I'm sorry, I need a second.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
No.
Aye. Motion fails. May I have a motion to accept
motion.
staff's recommendation?
A motion?
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
So do it with it as you will. Bring it back when you want to bring it back.
Motion to adjourn?
Not yet. Oh, that was the last one? No, there's one more. I thought there was one more.
That was the last one.
Yeah, no, that was 25.
27.
Somebody asked for
1227.
1227. There's one
Yes.
more, right?
Whatever
Yeah.
Ms. Carrera said.
Right,
Ms. Klein.
go ahead.
So 1227, again, it's that idea of streamlining, understanding why we have both. The impact of this, this one's considerably more expensive. So just understanding that before we sign on the dotted line.
Your motion.
Motion is to pull it for more information.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Did you support?
I said aye.
I know you said
I
aye.
know,
I know, he just wants, yeah. Just say aye, let it move, let it happen. It's gonna happen anyway.
I don't know, he's gonna be like,
Playing games up here.
yeah, yes, aye.
Okay, motion carries 4-1. That one actually carries, so bring it back when their questions are answered. That is the last one I have. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Yeah.